Now this guy 10 years imprisonment. We see people saying I just want to die. Can you just allow me to die? Lunch, tea, supper. Beautiful people, how are you all doing? You're welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to share my experience with you guys because I've gotten a lot of questions from different people who have watched some of my videos saying, how is working in care home? Is it really worth it? How is the pay? Is it stressful? Is it this? Is it that? So I'm here to answer some of your questions and just share my experience with you guys. For working in a care home, it can be stressful sometimes, but it's not the same everywhere. So I can't say it is stressful or it is not stressful. Well, generally, there's no work or there's no job you do here in the UK that is easy. In this country, as far as you're earning, you must work. That is just the truth. So if you're applying for the job, prepare. If you're applying for any job in this country, just prepare that as far as you earn, you must work. Okay, so it's not always easy. And again, moving to a new career, it's so different. There are a lot of things to learn. There are a lot of equipment, the environment. You've seen old sick people, sometimes you hear them say heartbreaking things and you're just down. First of all, when I started working, the first few weeks I had serious nightmares. I was just hearing voices in my sleep, but that's because of the kind of person I am. So you work with people who are always screaming, you work with people who are always crying, you work with people who are very emotional. You see people saying I just want to die, can you just allow me to die? That kind of thing. It's not really something that I'm used to, okay? So the thing was so weird, and though I was trained, but you were trained without residents, you were trained without people. The service users were not there when you were being trained. So when you go for your training, you hear things like, you wake up in the morning, you wake them up in the morning, you hoist them, you take them to the lounge, blah, blah, blah. You think that's just how it should be. You go to your care home in the morning, you meet people screaming, people who did not sleep throughout the night and all that. I'm not saying this to scare you guys, I'm just sharing my experience with you, okay? So there are different equipment that are used in the care home that I've never ever seen in my life, and I don't even know they existed, except during my training, of course. So there are so many. I'm going to list some of them to you guys, show you pictures, and just tell you what we use them for and how we use them and the risk involved in using them, and share my experience with you guys, the good and the bad side I've seen, from people who used it wrongly and the consequences of using them wrongly. I'll just try my best to give you guys the gist, okay? So the first thing I want to talk about is the hoist. Anybody who works in a care home must know what a hoist is, except maybe you're working in a place where you don't have people that you need to move from one place to the other, people that cannot walk. So if you're using a hoist, that's for me, that is the most dangerous equipment. I'm going to give a picture of it. That's the most dangerous equipment in the care home, because you use it to lift people from where they are. You use a lifting sling to lift them from where they are seated, maybe from their bed to chair, from chair to bed. And then if you do not do some things correctly, you may end up lifting the person and the person will just land on the floor and then put you in trouble. I'm sure most of you have heard the story of a Nigerian guy who was sentenced to prison, who was sentenced, I think, 10 years imprisonment because of this hoist, So he went to hoist somebody in the morning, and I think he was supposed to do it with somebody else, because most times when you use a hoist, please go with somebody, because that thing can put you in trouble. So he went in the morning and his partner was late, and he decided, Nigerian guy, he's strong enough, he can hoist the person alone. He used the hoist, and unfortunately for him, I think he did not put the sling correctly, or one slipped out, and then he used the hoist to raise the person up, and then the woman fell on the floor and maybe hit her head or whatever, got bruised. As a smart guy now, he carried the lady up, put her back on the bed, he didn't say anything and all that, and then the next day the woman died. And trust Oyibo now, they took the lady to the hospital, they did autopsy, they found out she had a fall. They went back to the care home, there was no reports concerning the fall anywhere. They had to trace it down back to who worked the day she had the fall. they got the guy. After everything, the guy had to just open up and say the woman fell on the floor, and that was how they nagged this guy 10 years imprisonment because of this hoist. So anytime I'm using the hoist, even if I fixed the slings correctly, something in me will just say, please, can you check the sling? Because you don't want to endanger somebody's life. I don't want to put yourself in trouble, you know. So you have to like double check any equipment you're using. When you come in the morning, check if the brakes are working, check if it is still good, check if the sling is torn, because there are so many things that can put you in trouble there. So you need that. And then there's on that thing we use a slide sheet. It's easy to slide the residents maybe up the bed, and you need somebody to do it with you. Okay, so that slide sheet is very simple, just like a cloth. I'll get the picture and show you guys what it looks like. So in the morning you come, and then before you do personal care for the person, you just want to like slide the person up the bed a bit and all that. And then guys, their beds you can control the beds. I think I have a video somewhere. I'll show you guys how it's just like using a remote to get the bed up, get the bed down, make the person sit up and all that. So whenever you're living in a room of somebody who is immobile or somebody who can roll off the bed, you just need to always put the bed down to the lowest level, so that if the person is rolling and falling off, the person will not like fall from a height. The person will like not roll off to the floor and all that. So they'll train you, and each care home is different. Some of them use bed rails and all that. So but each care home have their own way of doing things, and just make sure that you always find out how they do their own thing before you do your own or do what you feel is correct. Okay, and then before you take care of any patients, you have to see the person's care plan, be sure of the person's level. There are like 3 levels and food levels. So you want to see, does this person have difficulty in swallowing? Do you need thickeners for the person's liquids? This person's food, is it supposed to be pureed? Is it supposed to be minced and moist? Or, you just ask. Don't just meet somebody and say, oh, the person is telling you, give me juice. You carry juice and give the person. No, because that person may have that. And how do you know? You only know from reading the person's care plan. So you want to be careful so you don't put yourself in trouble. Then other equipment you use again is standing aid. There are different types of standing aid. So last week I went to a care home and I saw a new standing aid that I've never used before. And then I was like, before I realized that this is different, as I tried to use the belt, I found out that it was way different from what I've used in other care homes. And I'm like, I asked the residents, please sit down, let me get somebody that will do it for me. Because imagine the woman fell, what will I say? Oh, that I thought. My God, there's nothing like thoughting. You just need to get somebody who will help you. Somebody working there permanently, because you're not used to the place. Okay, yeah. So another equipment is commode. I'll show you guys a picture of what a commode looks like. That one is just for like people. I'll show you just like a chair where if you want to like ease yourself or something, instead of going to the toilet, you just sit on it, on the chair comfortably, and then later you take this stuff out. Just like potty, but for adults. Yeah. So under equipment we use walking frame. Under equipment you find in nursing home is walking frame. So if you meet a resident that I have not met before, find out if the resident needs a walking frame. Before you ask the person to, please can you give your review, find out, does this person need walking frame, so that the person will not fall and they'll say is it that ask the person to go. Under equipment, I think I won't say everything. So you have to check the person's wheelchair. You have to be sure the person is all right. Check the person's temperature. There are a lot of things to do. If you're not sure of anything, don't do over that. Don't say what is there. My grandmother was sick. If you did that, don't do your style. Ask them, can I do this? What should I do? They should be the ones to tell you what to do and how to do it. Just behave as if you don't know anything. You get instruction from people that have been staying or working with those residents for a very long time. Okay, so there are so many. It's very interesting. You meet some people like this. You meet some intelligent ones. You meet some that will tell you interesting stories. You meet very loving ones. Those that will just give you a warm hug and feel as if you're their grandchild. Then sometimes you meet some that are very difficult. Yeah. So it depends. There are different care homes. There are care homes for people with learning disability. There are care homes for people with dementia. There are care homes for people that have like mental issues. There are care homes for children that are born with disability like autism and learning disability and all that. Then there are care homes for like there are nursing homes. Those ones are for like people who are old and you just need to nurse them. They are very, very old. They can't do things themselves anymore. Then there is another aspect of care that is like called end of life. Those ones are people who are almost about to die, like they're just there, you know. If you work there, you just feel like, God, what a life it is, what a life, like God, you know. So, but it's very interesting, you know. You just enjoy and you get used to it as the day goes by. I'm talking about the pay. I can't really say. It depends on your agency or your company or the care home you're working for or the care home that sponsored your visa. So there are different packages and it's not the same everywhere. So, but all I know is that you're paid per hour. So if you have like a 12-hour shift, just know that in that 12 hour, you may have like 1 hour break. So you may have like 15 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the afternoon, and 15 minutes in the evening. Some companies do not pay for breaks. So if you go for a 12-hour shift, you get paid for 11 hours. Some pay for breaks, some do not pay for breaks. Some companies, some care homes offer lunch. You know, some care homes, there's one care home I went to, they offer breakfast, lunch, tea, supper, anything you want to eat. You will just be wondering, should I come here to eat or did I come here to work? So there are care homes that are that good. There are ones that you will not see shishi. They don't give you food, nothing. You just come to work and then you go. So it depends. When you're going to a new place, package well, arrange your bag, pack your food, go there and do your work. Make sure you're not hungry. Make sure you're taking enough water because your health is also important. Take a lot of fluid and then do your work well. If there's any concerns, talk to the seniors there, talk to people who need to know. If you notice any mark on your residence body, just report it. Always, if you see me reporting, like filling forms and all that, I write like I say almost everything that happened. You know, one lady who had to tell me, Blessing, can you manage space? I said I cannot manage space. I have to write everything that happened so that it will not put me in wahala. So you just want to say everything. If you see any scratch on the person's skin, write it, because if you have to write it and say you came and met the scratch there. So they don't say it was when you worked yesterday that the woman or the man had scratch. So you want to report every single thing. You don't want to put yourself in trouble. So that's how to work. You need to be very careful. You need to be detailed. You need to listen to information. If this person needs thickener, please put thickener for the person so that the person doesn't get choked. You know, if this person needs puree, if the person needs to eat with a teaspoon, there are so many things. That's why I said always check the care plan before you attend to any residents or any patients. Okay, so guys, thank you for watching this video. This is the end of my gist and I hope you learn 1 or 2 or 3 and this may help you work at ease. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it. Consider subscribing. Okay, see you guys in my next video. I love you all.